In this tutorial, we will learn to memorize the books of the Old Testament. Does anyone know how many books are in the Old Testament? Here's a trick to help remember. How many letters are there in the word old? 3. How many letters are there in the word testament? 9. Let's put those two together. 39, the number of books in the Old Testament. Many people don't understand how the Old Testament is arranged. They assume that it is chronological, from the first book written to the last. Instead, the Old Testament is arranged in sections. And to help us with those sections, remember that there are either in groups of 5 books or 12 books. In fact, we have 5 sections: 5 books, 12 books, 5 books, 5 books, and 12 books. 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. Just remember that. Here's some help with the sections. The first section is called the Law. These are the books of Moses, who received the law in the form of the 10 Commandments. Remember, the law consists of 5 books. Next is a section of history, which contains 12 books. After that are 5 books of poetry. Then we have 5 major prophets and 12 minor prophets. Major prophets aren't more important than minor prophets. They just wrote more words, so their books are longer. So let's learn a sentence that will help us remember the first 5 books of the law. God's eternal love never dies. Each word of that sentence gives us the first word of the book. Let's start with a book that means beginnings. We know it starts with a G, Genesis. The second book starts the journey of the Jews in the wilderness. It starts with an E, and it's called Exodus. Next is Leviticus, then Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Let's repeat those a few times. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. After the law comes history. There are 12 history books. Picture a judge named Joshua sitting in a courtroom. He is passing sentence on a woman named Ruth. At one time, she was baby Ruth, but now she is grown. Joshua judges Ruth. Those are the first 3 books in history. Next, we have 3 pairs, or another 6 books. They are arranged in opposite alphabetical order. 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, and 2 Chronicles. Those are 9 of our history books, and we are heading in the right direction. Speaking of direction, let's go east-northeast, E-N-E. That points to Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. Ezra was taller than Nehemiah and Esther. That's all the history books. Let's repeat them in order. Joshua judges Ruth. 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. 1 Kings, 2 Kings. 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. Now we have 5 books of poetry. Many poets write about pain. Others write about love and overcoming pain. But the joy of the Lord is our strength, according to the Bible. Now we'll memorize another sentence. Jesus provides people eternal strength. Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. We only have prophets left, 5 major prophets and 12 minor prophets. We have gone pretty far and gone really fast. Each day is a challenge, but here's our next sentence. I just love every day. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel. Here's our last section, the minor prophets, and we have 12 to go. Following I just love every day, let's focus on why we have that enjoyment. Having Jesus always offers joy. That is why we should love every day. Let's sing a song to remember the first minor prophet. We sing a form of this song when we go to a baseball game. Hosea, can you see by the dawn's early light? Hosea. Now our second song, the first Joel, the angel did say. Joel is our second one. Then Amos, Obadiah, and the big fish of the minor prophets, Jonah. 5 of the 12 minor prophets are down. Let's finish with the last 7. This starts with an abbreviation for Minnesota, which is the land of lakes with lots of fish, though Jonah didn't go there. MN, Micah, Nahum. One thing we won't find in Minnesota is a zebra. My new happy zookeeper hoists zebra manure. There's our last sentence. Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Let's go through those minor prophets again in order. Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. This is probably our hardest section. So now let's review the law. God's eternal love never dies. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Now we have history. Remember our courtroom. Joshua judges Ruth. The judge and the defendant make a pair, so let's do our pairs. 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. Now that defendant moves life in a new direction. East, north, east. Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. Poetry. Jesus provides people eternal strength. Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. The major prophets, I just love every day. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel. The minor prophets, having Jesus always offers joy. Hosea, can you see? The first Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah. The big fish in a Minnesota lake. MN, Micah, Nahum. No zebras in Minnesota. My new happy zookeeper hoists zebra manure. Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. In our next tutorial, we will learn to memorize the books of the New Testament.